Welcome to District 32, immersion, inspiration for ambitious business owners with big dreams.
Hello, my name is Lorraine Garvey. I'm of District 32 and I'm here again with Dinesh Agarwal of Fortuna Advisory Group. Hello, Dinesh.
Hello, Lorraine. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well. I'm really delighted to be interviewing you today for the Growth and Expansion series. It's hot tips for business owners who are thinking of growth, thinking of expansion, and what should we be thinking? What tips can you give us, and what pitfalls can we avoid? And for part 2 in this series, we're talking about organic growth and expansion. So Dinesh, you're leading the field, you're leading the way there around your own growth and expansion. What tips can you give us on organic growth, and what do we need to look out for?
Thanks, Lorraine. First of all, my pleasure to be back on this interview with you. So continuing from the series we started from the previous one, so we lead into organic growth today, which is the most hard and challenging sort of part of the growth journey in any business, because it's a slow process. It needs a lot of planning, because you have to be sort of reaching inside the market and penetrating yourself and attain that organic growth, and it doesn't come without planning. First of all, if you have a unique business model, or something which we can differentiate yourself from the others in the same industry, then you perhaps may have a little bit more faster growth journey and acceptance in the market. Otherwise, of course, you're competing on a similar and the same product, which is going to be more challenging. So if you look at just the trade market, if you are the same type of a plumber or the same type of an electrician, then you of course basically the best you can differentiate yourself is from a service perspective. But can you look outside the box and be able to differentiate your business model? And there could be various elements on it, whether that's marketing, whether that's service, whether that's your operations, your delivery. So you need to create some sort of a uniqueness in your business model to have at least some fast tracking in your organic growth. Then coming back to planning, you definitely, as any business which may be planning to grow in whichever direction or whichever way, shape, and form, needs to have some sort of a strategic business planning, that what is their end goal, what is their target, because of course without that sort of milestone journey planning, of course you're running a little bit in dark. You don't know without that end goal, how you planning your resourcing, whether that's human resources, how you're going to plan your capital requirement for that growth. So when you put into that planning mode, you start sort of getting a bit of a visibility in the picture that, okay, I'm a $1 million business today. My aim is to grow to a $5 million business. And during that process, of course, you're listing down the reasons. Okay, why do you want to be a $5 million business? There has to be a reason you pick that figure, because maybe there is some statistical sort of calculation that you've done based on a market research, that okay, in next 5 years, that is what realistically I can achieve based on the size of the market around me and the number of players in that industry and the product and the service I'm dealing with. So, and how am I going to be able to equip myself to service that revenue target, which means your staffing, your capital, and everything else that goes behind it. So when you start with that planning process, you start to line up the entire process, that this is my target sort of growth. If you're starting with revenue as your main growth, some people could have a different sort of growth target on a milestone, which could be, I need to have 5 offices in the next 2 years. I mean, that's, that could be, okay, whatever the revenue calculation will come along with it, then that becomes sort of a secondary milestone or target. So it flows on from there. And then sometimes, depending on the business owner, if it's a sole business owner, if there are few partners in the business, they have personal motivation and reasoning behind why they want to, so they achieve that growth. So they need to have some sort of common ground. So someone is looking at, okay, well, I mean, this is the lifestyle I want to live, and this is the money I want to earn. And to be able to do that, I need to have, that level or size of the business. So I need to get that growth. So, and to go through that organic growth journey, there could be two reasons. One, the industry is that unique in a way that, okay, well, you can't fast track, but you've got a lot of cash and you want to go and start acquire some businesses and bring the size to your business. Maybe that's not easily possible in the industry you are or the level you are operating at. So, and also, possibly no other potential opportunity. So you have to take that organic growth journey. And if the industry and the market is really receptive to the business or the type of business you're operating, and it could be, like, for example, IT industry in a perfect COVID situation, you didn't have to go and acquire businesses. It just you can't even handle your organic growth. Yep. So how are you going to find more people to be able to cater to that industry? So you identify your reasoning, that what sort of path and journey you want to take. So, and it is going to come with its own sort of challenges and the planning. And so the two biggest sort of issues or challenges I would perhaps see, which you need to put a lot of focus in your organic growth, is one is your, of course, team resourcing, human resources, and your capital required in that process. So you probably are not that capital intensive making acquisitions, but your organic growth, depending on the sector, it can need a lot of capital, which may require a lot of investment in your plant and machinery, or you are a business that needs a lot of physical space, so you need buildings and stuff, or you need, if you're in a transport, you need a lot of motor vehicles and trucks and stuff. Or if you are in a service industry, then of course a lot of human resources, recruitment, planning, and all that sort of stuff. And then the marketing is a constant factor, of course, in any kind of industry and business. So if you put all that in your planning, and where you're trying to hit the target, then I think the journey would be a little bit more smooth, but it's going to come with its own challenges.
So Dinesh, thank you very much. To recap there around organic growth, it can be long, it can be harder than everything else, it can take more time. But in order to achieve that successfully, again, do your homework, know that there's market there to be gotten, make sure that you've got planning in place on how you're going to obtain that market share, and also really important, differentiate yourself from your competitors to make it a little faster. Make sure that you've got capital requirements, but ultimately there it comes through the planning for the human resources, for the capital, for the marketing and the positioning, and to go at it.
Absolutely.
Dinesh, thank you very much for our organic, what to look out for, what to be aware of for organic growth. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to part 3 in the series.
Thanks, Lorraine.
You've been listening to District 32, immersion, inspiration for ambitious business owners with big dreams.